On your calculator?
Yeah.
Like,
it'll redeem it back.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is the quiz review.
Probably.
Look at all the things you did on it.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like,
Well, say thank you. One grateful sub. That's things.
I don't want to take somebody else's stuff, but wait, not nothing to tell me. I feel like I'm missing something.
Got every single note here.
I gotta do right on.
Yeah, buddy. I'm gonna find you.
151, fit a quadratic function to bivariate numerical data that suggests a quadratic association and interpret vertex. Yada yada. I'm gonna go to that page now and look at the full standard. Where are you there?
That whole thing would be going in his conversation.
Dying for some stuffing or
Smells like something, man.
that's not really it.
It's going.
That's so good for you.
Isn't it before you put stuff in? You put stuffing in broth. That's
Well, you put the ingredients. Yeah, there's a quadratic association. Interpret intercepts or vertex of the model. So I don't know if you remember Friday, but the problem we did took a lot of work. It took like half a piece of paper, if not more. And then I would say, okay, you did all that work to write your equation. Now use the equation. So you will be asked about the vertex or the intercept. Use the model to solve real world problems in terms of the context of the data. So that's what we're working on. We're going to get right to it on page 156, number 4. And we're going to do this problem by hand first. And then we're going to do in a calculator. We're going to let the calculator do the work for us. And then the 3 other problems assigned today can all be done with technology. You won't have to do them by hand other than the one I'm doing with you right now. 156? Yeah, number 4. This is kind of an interesting discussion about ice thickness. It says, how much weight can be supported by ice that is 22 inches thick? This is an experience testing the amount of weight ice can support. Who cares? Who cares about ice and how much weight it can hold?
exactly. Polar bears.
Maybe polar bears too well. Anybody? I do think the people of the North care about this. It's so hard to imagine because we never see ice outside, but I think there are people who are living places of the world who get most of their supplies by boat, and then their waterways freeze, and they wait until it's frozen enough so that trucks can go over the ice. Like, I think that's a part of a process of life in parts of the world. So I think a lot of people, they plan ahead and they get enough supplies to last them over that freeze period. And then when there's a lot of ice, they can use their snowmobiles and they can drive over the ice. But that period between water and ice is tough. And then there's also like research, like people who are trying to get up north, they have their helicopters, their airplanes, but bringing truckloads of goods is nice. So it'd be great to talk to someone who lives like in Russia or something.
Can they just like attach like a bag to the bottom of the helicopter or something like that?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think a lot of people living out there don't like necessarily all have helicopter money, you know, or they might have a truck, they might have a boat, but they're not quite at that airplane helicopter level of life. I don't know. What's that?
You could carry a lot on the boat.
Yeah. Either way, I do think there's a good portion of humans still talking about this, about how do we get supplies when things are really cold. Anyway, you can't do it by hand without C. unless you make a graph and then you kind of do distance formula, midpoint formula, find C. So to do this one by hand, I've added the C value in. I know that's the C value. So we're going to pretend that was provided. Step one of doing it by hand from Friday. Was anybody absent Friday? Okay, there is a video that shows the steps. It was like 7 steps. So we start with standard form, and then we put the C value in, the y-intercept, and then we're going to create a system of equations using 2 points. I randomly picked any 2 points. I picked the first point, 12, and the second point I picked was the 24. And I liked the idea of working with 12 and 24 because I was kind of foreseeing making opposites. So I was using a little bit of previous knowledge when I picked these points, but so I'm going to plug x and y in and to create equation 1, x and y to create equation 2. Hopefully you're going to start having flashbacks to Friday sometime here soon about that really long problem we did. So we're plugging in x and y, and then we are going to grab that calculator and simplify. And then if you remember, our mission is to do elimination, so we want opposites. Any questions about what's happening right now? All these numbers plugged in. Kaya, you're good? Do you know 24 squared by chance? I think it's 576. Has anybody done it yet? All right, 576. Yeah, where did 144 come from? Well, I plugged 12 into x squared, squared it. Plugged 24 into x squared, squared it. So I'm squaring the first x value that's plugged in. Now I'm thinking about ways to make opposites so I can add down, but actually, if we move the 5, it'll all be kind of shorter, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. Where am I with you, Bailey? Are you with me here? Okay, you ready to add 5? I don't want to go too quick. I can't tell how fast I've done this right now. Should I wait? We're good? Okay. I'm going to add 5 here, add 5 here, add 5 here, add 5 here. And now the problem is going to be shorter, less to deal with. And this is what we talked about. We did this twice Friday, not a lot, but twice. We want to add down and do the elimination process, but we need opposites. We either want opposite A or opposite B. Because when there's 2 unknowns, you can't figure them out. We're going to need to eliminate one of them. Billy? We could. I see 12 over 24. That's a nice matchup. So the top by -2 is a good idea. Most of our problems work with -2. Is there another one that could work besides -2? -4 also works because wouldn't you know it, 144 times 4 is 576. Wouldn't you know it? What's up? It's supposed to be -2, so all of these up here are negative, 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 minus. Add down. We're doing well. We're really progressing through. We almost have a value for A or B. You'll be so happy when you learn the shortcuts on the calculator, the cheat codes. On your test, you have to show you know how to do it by hand. But if you know how to check it in your calculator, you're welcome to have that. Okay, just keep on. And the B's have been eliminated. That was our mission accomplished. Now solve for A. Divide by 288. And we found our first value. We're trying to find A and B, and we found A. We did this 45.6 minus.
You don't see that.
Sometimes we forget to multiply that last value by 2 or -2, and that'll mess up that number. Any questions about any of the numbers you see up here? All right, we found A, now we have to find B. Who's had enough time to find B already? Okay, I'm gonna wait just a moment. Okay, maybe 5 people actually. We never stop with just one unknown. We want to find both unknowns, so we're gonna find B. So I'm gonna take this 0.1A, and I can pick anywhere to plug it in. I'm gonna pick right here, but I could do the bottom, and I could go to the expanded form. Yeah, I think it ends up being an even like -1/2. Like it works out really nice. Because this is -6 equals 12b, and divide, and we're at -1/2. Now, since I'm working with decimals already, like the table came with decimals, I could do -1/2 or I could do 0.5, whichever. But we finally found A and B. It didn't already. I mean, Friday it felt like the process took so long. That already felt a little bit shorter. I hope it did for you too, not just for me, but the more you do it, the quicker it gets. So, what is our equation? So it's 0.1 x squared minus 0.5 x minus 5. And this will tell us really anything we want to know about this ice. We could plug in any thickness and determine how much weight could go on the ice. So we'll do x equals 22 inches thick. And then we're going to do x equals 30 inches thick. And these problems always come with some sort of application. After you write it, they really want it to seem full circle and comprehensive to you. You have an equation. Why did we do that? Well, so now you can ask and answer questions about your data. How much weight for 22? So I'm going to plug in 22 here and here and find the weight in tons. And I'm going to plug in 30 and find the weight in tons. Mm-hmm.
Where do you get the time from? We just find the line so.
So you know how it's handwritten there?
Yeah.
So Friday on the problem we did in class and number 1 and 2, your y-intercept was provided. In this one, it's not. If it's not provided, 2 things happen. First, you use technology. So this problem is really supposed to be done with the calculator, but I wanted to do it by hand to review it. The 3 problems for homework today do not give you a y-intercept. You do them all using Desmos or a calculator. If you still wanted to do this and you don't have vertex or any intercepts, you graph it by hand. You find the axis of symmetry by hand doing midpoint formula, and you find the vertex. So to do it by hand, they have to give you C or HK or PQ. At this point, I mean, are there mathematicians out there problem solving it? Okay, so let's plug in. And I think the first one is, what is it, 24? What's the answer to the first one? Anybody? I got 32.4. Yeah, 32. And what's the answer to the second one? 70. Yeah, 70. So, and then last class we looked up how much does a semi-truck weigh? Does anybody know approximately what a semi-truck weighs?
18 pounds.
6 to 18 tons. Are those guesses, or? I think those are close for empty, and I don't know. The student just probably looked at Google, but they had their Chromebook open and they said a loaded semi-truck can weigh 40 tons. But no, empty is a big difference. Empty probably is between 6 and 18. So for a loaded semi-truck, go down, drill the ice, pull out the ice drill. If it's not quite to 30 inches yet, you might not want to drive your loaded semi-truck over that. Anybody been ice fishing, by the way? Like, yeah. Just a bunch of Floridians in here, but I mean, ice fishing is like a really popular hobby. And then ice skating and hockey as well. Like, kids who live up north, they're looking to see how thick the ice is so that they can go out there and get their ice skating, their hockey, ice fishing. The troublemakers drive their cars, and it worries all the adults. Like, you can't put a car out there yet. It's not, the ice isn't frozen enough. So that's like a scary thing that kids will do. Okay. All right, let's look at the calculator.
Wait.
Yeah.
What is this?
Because how is it increase getting over?
Okay, so as a reminder, we've already done linear regression with linear data. For quadratic data, you go to data, you enter everything into L1 and L2, just like we did for linear data. You just put your table in. Then second data, this time you go all the way down to number 5. It's called quadratic regression, because this isn't going in a straight line. You need your quadratic values. And then you go down to calculate, and then it will tell you what A, B, and C are. And it's way easier than doing it by hand. And then on Desmos, if you recall, you hit the plus sign in the table and you enter the table in. And so everybody should be either clicking in a calculator or doing this on Desmos. You can't do today's assignment without technology. You're using technology today. So if you don't have a Chromebook and you need one, go get one. Do you have a pass or something?
I was testing.
You might get a syntax error, something like that. Let me know. That's usually because you didn't enter the table in quite right, so double check your table. Okay, so here's the decimals of the calculator. Decimals will be given you. When you run them, it matches what we got by hand. So and if you're on Desmos, maybe write this down: y1 squiggle ax1 squared plus bx1 plus c, and it's x1 and y1 because your table is x1 and y1. They have to match. So a is 0.09998. So if we round, that's 0.1 rounded like what we got, and b is negative 0.49778, and so rounded, that's negative 0.5, and then c negative 5. So everything matches what we got by hand. Yes. You don't have to worry about like subscript. If you just type 1 next to y, it goes down. And if you miss the 1 next to y, it can't do it. So let me know if your calculator is giving you an error or if Desmos isn't working. And you guys have the rest of the class to get started on 3 through 5. Those you don't even have to show the work by hand. You're doing them with technology today.
Thank you.
Wow, this is great. I can't recall. Let's go 2 decimal places. I hope that's precise enough. Yeah.
Not including the amount. Full board. Yeah. For 3. 28.15124717. No, I got a different one because I didn't do that. Look at that. Copy them word. Put words for me. Copy both of them. Copy them from the calculator. Yeah, probably right.
And so you just have to type all that in. No, there was just a drop down menu.
What happened?
No, I'm just wondering if this is correct.
Hold on. Wait, wait. I don't know my answer.
You get the data. Then again.
And then you go to line 2.
There's an easier way. Oh, it's already there now. Decimals.com has a new feature this year, so I kind of need to update my own mind. But there's a little squiggle thing here that will have this drop down menu where you don't have to type in this. You just click quadratic regression and it shows you the equation. So if you see a little button here, they will give you this option. Make sure you do quadratic and not linear.
Wow, I'm like struggling with this.
Data for.
Stay awake.
Data for.
It's page 157, 350. Is that not true?
11.16.
With. Wait, this is something?
So I remember in there. Let's go.
You put 32 in.
Four? I got 4, 9.
On your calculator, when you hit calculate, your calculator pause it. That's your first time you've ever seen that calculator thinking. Okay, usually when you calculate something, the number comes up immediately. The quadratic regression process, it's actually taking like what you think 3-4 seconds for your calculator to think. Did anybody notice? You're like, wait a minute, what's happening? That's like a loading. There's a lot of math going on in the program. It did feel like it's like one of the only things that takes your calculator to put it up.
The computer ever before? Yeah, you got.
No. Data entry.
You need a minimum of 5.
Yeah, I was doing it. 3 guys.
Right. So like on my paper, I wrapped it in this stuff.
So you ready? What is going to H for this? Yeah, so you're plugging in A.
I've never seen someone like you.
You think it right equals guess. Y1 is guess these. Language.
So
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I think different because this is what I got and inaccurate. Yeah, I was trying to think that like so the 1,000th is gonna be more accurate than the 100th. Yeah. So if you haven't done it yet, going 3 decimals, might be better for this data today. Most of the time 2 decimals will be okay, but I think this data is like really particular. All right, I did assign you some work Friday. It was 1 and 2. And they were long. They were long questions. This would be a lot of work to go along with that. I do want to give everybody credit who was in class and did the band question with me. About what's the perfect ticket price for the band. So when I come by, I'll ask to see that as well as 1 and 2, and you'll get credit for whatever you did.
What page is Spanish now?
154.
Hey.
I
Hey, I did that.
Yeah. And for your answer, for number 2, that was assigned Friday.
Yeah, imagine not skipping the word.
Your test, every question asks you to show work by hand. So I don't test technology in this class.
So we'll always have to do that.
But there are people like this on the travel test who are using the regression to check their work. So it is a real advantage to know how to do it.
Did you get
Because we have to apply for program. Yeah, I wanted to find
I'm looking for the that are bold. I know that's the
Teachers and students, please excuse this interruption. The Spanish National Honor Society presents La Sociedad Nacional de Honor al Español presenta Hispanic Heritage Week, la Semana de Orgullo Hispano, in Building 18, College and Career Center during lunches en el edificio 18, Centro de Universidades y Carreras, durante los almuerzos. Monday, lunes, pizzeria, lunes, big traditional Mexican bingo. Tuesday, martes, Tuesday trivia, play trivia about Latin and Hispanic culture. Wednesday, miércoles, música, miércoles, play traditional games and listen to Spanish music. Thursday, Flag Day, decorate a flag to represent your country and culture. Friday, viernes, scavenger hunt, scavenger hunt in the media center. After school, después de la escuela, stop by our club to make some traditional Latin crafts in 15101 and join them to help decorate the campus. Find sobre el club de arte para hacer artesanías tradicionales latinas y para decorar el campus. 15101 es el edificio. You can win some prizes. Puedes ganar prizes.
Bro, I did not know how I passed my whole last year. I did Spanish like 7th and 8th grade. Yeah, but
Eighth was like honors science, honors Spanish, and ninth was honors, but seventh was like
I just told you.
credit.
I hate
She asked me to. Oh,
what
technology.
yeah, I would have had to. Yeah, take my credit. Take my credit, buddy. Use technology. Bro, I did anything but work in my lunch. Back when I did a lunch, I was a Spanish one, right? It was so funny. They would do GPAs, like discussion with our teachers. He did not care. I was. I had to translate up every time.